incorruptible because Zod couldn't get him to align with him. Jor-El's posture and stance, Jor-El's posture and stance after death was very Asar-like. Like the way he mostly stood with his feet close together, his hand positioning, and when they activated the key on the ship, that was the opening of the mouth ceremony, because the opening of the mouth ceremony it legitimizes the succession to the throne as an earthly ruler. So that's what Zod was trying to do when he was trying to push the key in. He's trying to be the earthly ruler. KTL, which is the sun, it breaks down to this. Ka is spirit. When a person dies, the Ka continues to live. El, of course, is God, specifically is Asar. So KTL is the spirit of God. He represents Heru or Horus or the hero. Heru means that which is above. Her, which is HR in the Metanetra, that's the root word for Heru. It means face. Remember, Jor-El means burnt face God. So at the beginning of the movie, we was dealing with the first natural birth in centuries. That was just a spin on the Immaculate Conception. While we're on the biblical parallel, Laura sent in KTL off to escape Krypton's destruction, but she also sent KTL off to hide from Zod. Mary sent Jesus in hiding from Herod. Herod is close to like Zod. So Set and Isis was in hiding with Heru. Set or Isis was in hiding with Heru or Horus from Set. By the way, they hid in the delta. A delta is a triangular shape like Superman's emblem. The natural birth was a violation of Kryptonian laws where people were birthed with the planetary codex, a program that determined a person's life mission. So basically, KTL was born with free will, which was against the law. We live under the so-called laws. I'm talking about in real life. We live under so-called laws that are really statutes and codes. So it's interesting that they use the term codex. The genetic codex that Jor-El infused into KTL's cells offer hope in the form of the preservation of the Kryptonian race, just as Heru was hope of immortality in the form of him being Asar reincarnated or his resurrection. The S stands for hope. Real quick, the El-Hajj Malik El-Shabazz, I broke that down. I'm kind of sick. Let me drink this water real quick.
Yeah.
He's a beast.
It's
interesting that, right.
My bad, go ahead.
No, please continue.
El-Hajj Malik El-Shabazz is El, which is God, Hajj, which is pilgrimage, Malik, which is king, and El, once again, is God, and Shabazz, according to the Nation of Islam, is an ancient scientist who led the original people of the tribe of Shabazz into Africa. So you can see the parallel with that and Superman, who pilgrimages to Earth. Earth is also Geb, and Geb, which a lot of people don't know, was the first king. Like mythologically, I'm talking about in Kemet, embodying the potentiality of the continuance of his people. That's what Superman's role was, and that's also what the role of Malcolm X was. But specifically, I attached it not really to Superman, but to Jor-El. All the L's and El-Hajj Malik El-Shabazz, that for me, that ties him to Jor-El or Asar, because you got to remember, Heru is carrying out the plan of Asar. Oh, by the way, I should say this.
Right.
I
would say, right, if Superman is resonating more so with the Malik or the Malik energy, then, we would be thinking about the resonance as the sun, maybe as Obama as a archetype figure. You feel me? And we could think of the various, even his campaign, one of his main campaign pictures was him opening up his shirt like he was Clark Kent with his symbol on it, which was the rising sun. Right. And there has been other symbolism as well that ties him into that particular correlation.
and he was saying hope, and it was hope.
Yeah, the hope thing was just a little too much for me. Like, that was such a clear 44 indicator. I'm like, you know, it just was. It was just clear. It was clear as day because there was too much emphasis put on that hope aspect. You know what I'm saying? Who else runs on hope as a thing? Who else uses hope as dope?
Yeah.
With your boy.
Malik.
Hmm?
Back to the names. When I'm gonna use like Heru interchangeably with Kal-El and Superman. I'm gonna use Asar interchangeably with Jor-El. I'm gonna use Osset interchangeably with Barbara. So, you know, bear that in mind. And Zod, of course, I'm gonna use that interchangeably with Set. So General Zod, he's the antagonist. Zod, to me, Zod, when you change the Z to the side, that's nod, and that's your head. You nod with your head, and he's the head. Also, it's a reference. It's the biblical reference to the land of Nod. Nod is where Cain was exiled after murdering Abel. Zod was exiled after murdering Jor-El. Nod in Hebrew means to wander. Zod was exiled to wander in the Phantom Zone. And Kemet
where the bomb's at, son?
Yeah, he lacking. You know, it's all good.
I'm trying to let him. He not taking a breath. I'm trying to let him finish, and then you got to pull up a little bit. You know, it's like being in the booth. You can't give him 100 balls. You got to take a breath, and then that's where the bombs come in. You know, yo.
Breath control. Gotta get the breath controller. All right. So, in Kemetic tradition, again, Set murdered Asar. Zod reverse is does, as in dozen. Zod wanted to clone a new breed of bloodlines that he saw fit. Zod also represents the Iceman inheritance psychology of the European race. Hence, he was trapped in a frozen ice shell beneath a carbon-like cocoon, mummy-like casing, sentenced to 300 cycles of somatic reconditioning to the Phantom Zone, which is a black hole. There was a part of that scene that I really didn't.
And he said they took 33 years preparing.
Right, I'm gonna get to that too. There was that scene where Zod and his followers got sent off. There was 10 sahus, or so-called mummies, and those 10, if you look close at the screen, they look like the digits of your finger. So that's 10 fingers. I don't really know how that ties in, but somebody else might. But Superman's superiority over Zod is his more prolonged exposure to the sun. Set, once again, we talking about Zod, really. Set is a god of strength, cunning, arrogance, ego, impulsive, and protective power, believe it or not. He's also the god of metals. Iron was the hardest metal known in Kemet and was thus called the bones of Set. Zod wore a metal armor native to Krypton. Due to his impulsiveness, arrogance, and ego, he took it off to show Superman he was strong without it. Excuse me. Zod was really set in his ways, like genetically hardwired. He personified anger, rage, violence. Set was known as the Red One, hence the use of his heat vision, which was red when he was trying to kill that family. Is an inimicable foe of Asar, as is Zod of Jor-El. Superman and Zod, like Heru and Set, are opposite extremities or polarities of the same thing. All right, now I'm gonna move on and talk about. They were showing you four realms in the movies. I'm about to go through that real quick. The 4 realms. Noon, which is the primordial or primeval waters, which is the substratum divinity. This is where Jor-El swam to get the genetic codex. This is also the Genesis chamber where Jor-El showed Kal-El, which was later overrun by Zod. The Genesis chamber was that chamber on the ship. I'm gonna go back to that later. So that's the first realm. realm is the primordial dot of creation, or the bin, or this is where the creator divinities dwell. Creator divinities contain the entire matrix that becomes creation. That's a quote from Muata Ashby. The keys in the movie, they were triangular delta prism-like shape with an S emblem on the top. I'm going to get back to that later as well. This realm is the realm of Amen, or Amen. It's the hidden realm. The third realm is the lower astral plane where matter forms. This is Ra's domain. This is Superman's power source. The third and fourth realms, divinities like often go in between these two dimensions, which is what Superman does. The fourth realm is the terrestrial divinity, which is earthly. This is what explains Superman's avian qualities, along with being Earth's caretaker. They constantly stress that he's Earth's caretaker. Now, I'm gonna jump like exactly, which is the king. Yeah. Yep. Which is the abode of the king.
Over Mount Cool.
Right. So in the movie, I'm gonna walk you like through the movie now. His first job, he was a fisherman, right? His alias was Greenhorn. Green is the the green one, and Horn is a play off of Hor, which is short for Horus, the Greek name for Heru. The helipad read, and keep in mind, this is the first scene. This is the first scene with Kal-El, of Kal-El since he was born. The helipad read, Bright Arctic, 37/54, and it had a circle with an H in the middle of it. 37 is the number of weeks of a full-term pregnancy. 54, when you add it up, is 9, which is the number of months of a full-term pregnancy. H is hydrogen. Not only is the sun 92.1% hydrogen, but the symbol for the sun, as well as the Medu Neter of Ra, are both a circle with a black dot in the center. And if that wasn't enough, the molecular depiction of hydrogen is the same exact thing. So now we're gonna move on to the water scene. He's floating in the ocean of his consciousness in direct sunlight. I'm gonna go more into that later. So Clark steals clothes from house number 536. When you add up 536, that's 14. That's a nod to Asar. Remember, Asar was chopped into 14 pieces. Now you move on to the scene with the bus. The bus, they described it as an act of God or providence, which is like just more Jesus association. Martha, his earth mother, she taught him how to focus. Jonathan, his earth father, gave him keys to who he was and where he was from. And I'm going to tie all this in. I know this stuff is obvious, but I got to say it anyway. The barn scene. Barns are a place where you usually find hay or straws. Clark says, can I just keep pretending I'm your son? That was acknowledgement that he wanted to hold on to his straw man at first.
Yeah, he wanted
excuse me? Oh, his second job was in Nova Scotia at a diner. The guy throwing the drink in Clark's face, that was a nod to the original Superman film. I don't know if it was the first one or the second one. But anybody who saw the old Superman movies know. He was at a diner when a dude...
The second one is when he had the bar fight. That's when they had Zod in the monolithic configuration. When
he lost his powers and everything got beat up.
He got wild.
Yeah, that was. In movies, they often give a nod to like their predecessor movies. So that's what that was. Directly behind Clark, this is funny. Directly behind Clark was a Budweiser, or Budweiser-looking logo with a guitar neck. That's a nod to Asar. I wrote an article called "While the Bitch is Rising, the Rabbit Hole Goes Deep" in my Facebook notes, and I go in heavy on why the Budweiser logo represents Asar. But just quickly and short, I'll tell you this: the Budweiser logo is an hourglass figure. An hourglass figure is the Orion constellation. The Orion constellation is Asar. So that's where you have it. The third job he took. See, he's a black man. He can't keep a job. The third job.